fast track for all 12 tenses in English and the 4 conditional types with examples. 12 tenses in English. Present tense. 4 tenses. Simple present. Expresses daily routines or universal truths. Present continuous. Indicates an ongoing action in the present. Present perfect. Describes actions that happened at an unspecified time in the past or actions that started in the past and continue to the present. Present perfect continuous. Indicates an action that began in the past and is still continuing. Simple present tense. Expresses daily routines or universal truths. Examples. He walks to school. She loves pizza. It rains a lot in Seattle. The Earth orbits the Sun. They speak English. I read a book every month. Cats hate water. The store opens at 9 a.m. He drinks coffee in the morning. She writes in her diary. Present continuous tense. Indicates an ongoing action in the present. Examples. He is walking to school. She is eating pizza. It is raining right now. They are speaking English. I am reading a fascinating book. She is writing in her diary. The cat is sleeping on the sofa. We are watching a movie. The students are studying for exams. He is drinking water. Present perfect tense. Describes actions that happened at an unspecified time in the past or actions that started in the past and continue to the present. Examples. He has walked to school. She has finished her pizza. It has rained this week. They have learned English. I have read that book. She has written in her diary. We have seen that movie. He has done his homework. The cat has caught the mouse. They have visited London. Present perfect continuous tense. Indicates an action that began in the past and is still continuing. Examples. He has been walking for an hour. She has been eating for 20 minutes. It has been raining since morning. They have been learning English for a year. I have been reading this book for 2 days. She has been writing in her diary all evening. We have been watching TV for 3 hours. He has been doing his homework since dinner. The cat has been sleeping all day. They have been playing since noon. Past tense. 4 tenses. Simple past. Discusses actions completed in the past. Past continuous. Describes an ongoing action in the past. Past perfect. Talks about an action that was completed before another action or time in the past. Past perfect continuous. Indicates a continuous action that was completed before some point in the past. Simple past tense. Discusses actions completed in the past. Examples. He walked to school yesterday. She ate pizza last night. It rained yesterday. They learned English last year. I read that book last week. She wrote in her diary. We saw that movie. He did his homework. The cat caught a mouse. They visited London last summer. Past continuous tense. Describes an ongoing action in the past. Examples. He was walking when I saw him. She was eating pizza when I called. It was raining all night. They were learning English when I met them. I was reading when the power went out. She was writing in her diary at midnight. We were watching TV when they arrived. He was doing his homework all evening. The cat was sleeping when I left. They were playing when it started to rain. Past perfect tense. Talks about an action that was completed before another action or time in the past. Examples. He had walked to school before it started to rain. She had finished her pizza by the time I arrived. It had already rained before the game. They had learned English before moving to the USA. I had read that book before the class. She had written in her diary before going to bed. We had seen that movie before you mentioned it. He had done his homework before dinner. The cat had caught the mouse before noon. They had visited London before they went to Paris. Past perfect continuous tense. Indicates a continuous action that was completed before some point in the past. Examples. He had been walking for an hour before it started to rain. She had been eating when I arrived. It had been raining for hours before the flood. They had been learning English for years before moving. I had been reading that book for days before finishing it. She had been writing in her diary for an hour before sleeping. We had been watching TV for the whole night before the trip. He had been doing his homework for 3 hours before he finally finished. The cat had been sleeping all day before the vet visit. They had been playing for hours before they got tired. Future tense. Simple future. Discusses actions that will happen in the future. Future continuous. Indicates an action that will be ongoing at a specific time in the future. Future perfect. Describes an action that will be completed by a certain future time. Future perfect continuous. Talks about an action that will continue up until a point in the future. Simple future tense. Discusses actions that will happen in the future. He will walk to school tomorrow. Examples: she will eat pizza tonight. It will rain tomorrow. They will learn English next year. I will read that book soon. She will write in her diary. We will see that movie. He will do his homework. The cat will catch a mouse. They will visit London next summer. Future continuous tense. Indicates an action that will be ongoing at a specific time in the future. Examples: he will be walking to school at 8 a.m. She will be eating pizza when you arrive. It will be raining tomorrow afternoon. They will be learning English at that time. I will be reading when you call. She will be writing in her diary tonight. We will be watching TV when they come. He will be doing his homework all evening. The cat will be sleeping when we get home. They will be playing this weekend. Future perfect tense. Describes an action that will be completed by a certain future time. Examples: he will have walked to school by 9 a.m. She will have finished her pizza by then. It will have rained by tomorrow morning. They will have learned English by next year. I will have read that book by next week. She will have written in her diary by tonight. We will have seen that movie by tomorrow. He will have done his homework by 8 p.m. The cat will have caught a mouse by morning. They will have visited London by the end of summer. Future perfect continuous tense. Talks about an action that will continue up until a point in the future. Examples: he will have been walking for an hour by the time he gets to school. She will have been eating for 20 minutes by the time I arrive. It will have been raining for hours by morning. They will have been learning English for a year by the time they move. I will have been reading this book for 2 weeks by the time I finish. She will have been writing in her diary for an hour by midnight. We will have been watching TV for 3 hours by the time they arrive. He will have been doing his homework for 2 hours by the time he finishes. The cat will have been sleeping all day by the evening. They will have been playing for the whole afternoon by the time they stop. For conditionals in English. Zero conditional. Used for facts and universal truths. First conditional. Discusses a possible condition and its probable result in the future. Second conditional. Talks about hypothetical situations and their possible outcomes. Third conditional. Describes an impossible past condition and its result in the past. Zero conditional. Used for facts and universal truths. Examples: If you heat water, it boils. If it rains, the grass gets wet. If you mix red and blue, you get purple. If you don't eat, you get hungry. If it snows, the roads become slippery. If plants receive sunlight, they grow. If you touch fire, you get burned. If ice is cold, it melts in the sun. If you cut yourself, you bleed. If you press the button, the light turns on. First conditional. Discusses a possible condition and its probable result in the future. Examples. If it rains tomorrow, we will stay indoors. If she finishes her homework, she will go out tonight. If they win the match, they will celebrate. If I see him, I will tell him. If you don't hurry, you will miss the bus. If we don't leave now, we will be late. If she calls you, tell her I'm busy. If it gets hotter, we will turn on the air conditioner. If he doesn't apologize, I will not speak to him. If you take care of your health, you will live longer. Second conditional. Talks about hypothetical situations and their possible outcomes. Examples. If I won the lottery, I would buy a house. If she knew the answer, she would tell us. If he were here, he would help us. If we lived closer, we would visit each other more often. If you spoke French, you could live in France easily. If it were sunny, we could go to the beach. If I had more time, I would learn to play the piano. If they had a car, they would drive to work. If you ate healthier, you would feel better. If she were my friend, I would invite her to my party. Third conditional. Describes an impossible past condition and its result in the past. Examples. If I had known you were coming, I would have waited for you. If she had studied harder, she would have passed the exam. If he had taken the medicine, he would have felt better. If we had left earlier, we would not have missed the flight. If you had told me, I would have helped you. If they had saved money, they could have bought a house. If you had asked me, I would have said yes. If she had seen the sign, she would not have parked there. If I had realized the time, I would have called you. If they had known the truth, they would have acted differently.